The intended use of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests independently, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Updog Challenge Incorporated, its sponsors, or any other partnered organizations. Updog Challenge Incorporated does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of any opinions expressed. In no way should the information provided during the Sweet Spot, an Updog podcast, be considered veterinary, medical, legal, or professional advice. At all times, the advice of your personal professional should supersede any information provided, derived, or inferred from listening to this podcast.
Ready, set, go.
Welcome to the Sweet Spot, an Updog podcast. I'm Andre Morissette.
I am Jack Faley. We do not have a guest today, but we do have, I think, a really great topic for you, and a topic that I'm hoping that folks that listen to this podcast maybe save the link to this one, because this one is called, Dre?
My first disc dog competition. Yeah, so this will be one of the ones that we save and star because we're going to be able to send it to new players. If you have somebody new that comes into your club and they're not sure what to expect when you invite them to your first meetup or your first event, hey, come on out and hang out with our club. Drop them this link to our podcast. We're going to go through what they can expect when they first show up, what they should bring, how they should approach the day, and what they might experience throughout the day also. So, and of course, we're talking about an Updog comp because what better disc dog event to take your dog to for the very first time other than an Updog competition. So that's my favorite thing to recommend when you meet somebody new. You can invite them to Toss and Fetch League, invite them to a Skyhounds event, or invite them to an Updog event. But in my mind, Updog really covers all the games and all the different strategies. All three of those things can help to build the sport, but we feel like Updog really has the best well-rounded games to be able to support a new player and all the different skills that you need. In order to play freestyle, that's the only time we're going to mention freestyle today, and now it's out of the way.
2 minutes in, and there it is. Okay.
It only has to happen once, and now we can be done.
So the idea for this podcast came to us because I was at our local club. We've had a couple new folks coming, which is great. And, I'm always so busy at an event. I'm judging, I'm, doing players meetings, setting up the field, whatever. And, I don't often have as much time as I'd like to go connect with those new folks and ask them how things are going, answer any of their questions and so on. So we just figured if we could do some of that up front through this podcast, they would come to the event a little bit more prepared, a little bit more, just like Dre said, knowing what to expect. So we're going to kind of run through just, from the moment I decide maybe I'd like to go to a disc dog comp, what should I be doing to prepare, enjoy the day, and then what do I do after the event? So we're going to go through the whole thing, and we'll just kind of go in a logical sequence. And we'll start with the question of hey, you know what? I'm playing in my backyard. My dog and I are really enjoying me throwing the disc for my dog. Why do I even want to go to a competition? Can I just stay in the backyard? Dre, why would I want to go?
And you can absolutely stay in the backyard. And Jack, you've had some backyard champions. And if you want to stay in the backyard, Updog even has games and accessibility options for dogs that don't like leaving your yard. So if you do want to stay in your backyard, we have games like Bike Club, we have games, online competitions, all kinds of stuff where you don't have to leave your yard. So first of all, if you have a dog that's a little bit nervous and you'd like to do some more stuff, but you don't really want to leave the yard, we do have options for that. But if you want to get out of your yard, out in the world with your dog, which we would call enrichment, it's enriching for the human and the dog to be out around other people, out in parks, out in environment and nature, getting sunshine and fresh air. So that's my number one reason of why I go to disc dog competitions. It gets you out in the world with your dog around other people and other dogs out in nature. Whether that means it's like a nice summer day, or it's a chilly spring rainy day, or it's a fall day, or it's a cold winter day, you can experience outside nature with your dog and, breathe fresh air and meet other people and dogs and have an enriching day.
Yeah, I think that if you don't know, the Updog kind of mantra is play, achieve, expand. And just like Dre is saying, I think this is part of expanding your horizon in terms of like she's saying, getting out beyond your backyard. But most importantly for me anyway, when I went to my first disc dog comp, was the people. the people that I met. The people that I met, I gained strong friendships that I still have today, 20 plus years later. Gained knowledge about the sport and just enjoyed connecting with other people that like doing what I like doing, which was playing in the backyard frisbee with my dog. So that's a huge thing, I think, is building that little network of support for yourself and connecting with people that enjoy doing what you like doing.
Yep.
By the way, just to clarify something, Dre, I think that you said was bike club. Bike
Mhm.
club. I think you meant video on
Oh,
the
video
video
games,
game.
Updog video games. Yeah.
Yeah, bike club you cannot do in your in your backyard by yourself. Um,
Video games, you can, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right. So
But there were two other parts about that that I wanted to say. First part
go
is
ahead.
an experience from the dog's perspective. If you don't do this kind of stuff, your dog's window of observation of the world is really small. Like maybe they'll only get to experience walking around the block and getting to sniff the stuff that's around your block. But if you think about it, if you were your dog and 99% of your life existed inside the four walls of your house, going out to a disc dog event is a massive improvement or increase of their scope of enrichment in the world as the first thing, right? Like most of the time, our dogs don't really leave home to go to the vet, come back, go to the dog park, come back, that kind of thing, or walk around the block, come back. But going somewhere and doing an enrichment activity, it really does dramatically open up what their experience of life is. And as their owners, we're responsible for their experience of life. So I wanted to mention that part of it that like if we don't look through the dog's lens, we don't see how much they're really home. So it really opens
Yeah,
up their experience. And then the second thing I wanted to say is for those of us out there that like a little bit of spice in our life or like competition, a little bit of fiery excitement, that sort of stuff, that element of the game is really great. It's not my favorite part of the game. Maybe it's not Jack's, which is why we didn't speak to it. But for many people, that is the best part of the game for them is that opportunity to have adrenaline and to really have that exciting competition experience. It's my least favorite part of the game, so that's why I didn't bring it up. But everybody has different experiences of it. Some people live just to compete and have that excitement, and then the rest of the day-to-day part isn't their favorite part. The day-to-day part is the favorite part for me. So it just depends on where you get reinforced from, like Jack says, find your points, where you get your cookies from in competing. It might be getting out with nature and people, which is Jack's. It might be getting out your dog for enrichment, which is mine, and it might be getting out some competition and some excitement in your life, which, everybody has a spectrum.
yeah, and that can be super motivating too to get out and play more in your backyard. You know,
Hmm.
if you are that competitive type or just that drive to get better, maybe it's not even a competition thing with other against other teams or anything. It could just be a motivator for you to see what all else you could be doing with your dog. How can you can
Yep.
improve your skills by seeing other players, and then that can be motivating, which translates again. I like that Dre brought up the lens of the dog. It translates to my dog is now going to I'm more likely to get my dog out and go in the backyard and play and train because I've seen what other folks
You
can do.
have some skills and you're curious about how to do those. That's what happened with me. I saw a dog doing a flip and I was like, how'd they do that? And then I spent the next 2 weeks over flipping my dog. But that's all stuff we do in the beginning. Okay, so now that we know that there's these competitions and enrichment opportunities for our dogs, how do we find out about up dog competitions, Jack?
All right, so the first thing to do would be go to updogchallenge.com and click on events and scroll through. There's a lot of events, but you can scroll through and you can search and see if you can find a competition coming up in your local area. There should be contact information for each one of the events. Many of the events will have a link there so that you can link directly to their registration form. So usually the registration form will have all the info on where it is, what time, and sometimes they even have things on there about what to bring and how to prepare and stuff like that. If you not if you don't. I would say go there first. That's probably the best place to go. But also, if you are not already on the Updog Challenge discussion page, join the Updog Challenge discussion Facebook page. And many times, competitions will be posted there as well. Say hi,
It's a
Jitterbug.
bug.
Jitterbug. Um, And so I lost my train of thought. Oh, the
Competition is
discussion
posted on
page.
the Updog discussion
Discussion page.
page, Facebook page.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
most
those are the
people
two
will
places that
cross-post their events
I
there.
would
Yeah.
say go to.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right, cool. So now that we've decided to go to one, right? So like I went through the events page, I picked one near me. There's a club near me. I reached out, I signed up, all that stuff. What do I bring? Other than my dog and a leash.
What do you bring?
Yeah.
Um,
Or wait, what game should I sign up for? So there's all these, there's this list, right?
yeah,
And all these options. What game should I sign up for? So like me, there
that
might be 5 or 6 different games over a weekend, or 8 games over a weekend, maybe 4 games a day. And they're all going to have different names. There, people aren't going to know what they are. So how do
yeah.
you know which games would be like the best option for somebody that's brand new?
So that's a great question because yeah, the names of them don't necessarily tell you which ones might be the easiest for a beginner to get
Mhm.
started with. But I would say look for these three games. In my opinion, they are the easiest ones for a brand new dog
I'm
to
going to see
start
if
with.
I have the same three in my head. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
it's possible you have three different ones. Oh, well, I think you would at least have one of these. But
Yeah.
if your dog doesn't know anything about agility or anything like that, like they haven't had any training with agility obstacles, then these are the three I would suggest. I would suggest four-way play,
Hmm.
throw and go,
Yep.
and time warp.
Yep.
Those three, I think, are probably the easiest to just take a quick look at the rules, watch a few other teams play, and you can kind of pick up on what's going on. The if your dog does have some agility training, I would also throw fragility into that
Yep.
list. But if your dog's not used to going over jumps and through tunnels, just don't do that.
I did that
It,
with Magic. His first ever Updog comp, I just showed up and like I signed up for Frigility. It was at Updog X, and I had just never worked on jumps with him that way. And I spent the whole time just trying to lure him over a jump. Wasn't the most fun round I ever had. So yeah, I take your advice on that one. If you haven't done work with agility jumps, skip the agility games for now and focus on the disc only games.
so what do you think? Those three, time warp,
Yeah.
throw and go, four-way play?
Yeah, and Time Warp has a lot of intricacies, obviously, to the
Yeah.
game. But it if the person has skills with the dog, right away they can see that they're going to want the dog to be able to drop on the flank, and that's really the point of Time Warp, other than retrieving. There's a retrieval element to it, and there's a speed element of dropping on the flank. So I would say it right away they'd be able to tell that they can work on their dog dropping on the flank, and I think that'd be a good beginner skill for a new player to work on. And if the dog won't, and they come back and they can just
They
send them
just
around three
right.
times and throw them out, right? So similar
Exactly.
to throw and go, but with more layers of strategy on top of it and a speed element.
Yeah.
Four-way play 100% is the first game I recommend. It gets everybody moving around the field, gets the dogs working with multiple discs, makes the handler move, even if they're just walking 10 yards from one spot to the next spot. They're still moving around the field, and the dog is being moved around the field. And it's a very simple game. You can stand right on the corner and plunk the disc right in the dog's mouth. So yeah, those are my same top three and my same agility game that I would do. So we got our little laser game pointers dialed in this morning, Jack.
All right. So I let's say I looked at the games that they're offering. Maybe they weren't offering throw and go. They were offering
Mhm.
time warp and four-way play. So I signed up for those two. I'm super excited. The event's coming this weekend. Like, what else do I need to like think about? Is there anything I need to prepare for, Dre? Like stuff to bring? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would if your dog is not nor used to doing like weekend warrior stuff where they're going out and running a whole lot, you might want to look at getting like an electrolyte or just bringing a little bit of like a dried bone broth as an electrolyte for the dog during the weekend. Because if they're not used to running all weekend, imagine you going out and not being used to running all weekend and then running all weekend. You'd probably be a little deficient on electrolytes and stuff. So I like to bring some sort of supply for the dog to help with their energy, some kind of electrolyte supplement. You can get them at a pet supply store. Make sure you're bringing purified water. A lot of dogs might get bubble guts or a little bit like that from drinking from a different water source. So if you're going from home, they're primarily used to being home and they're going to a different place. You want to bring a bottle of water either from home or a bottled water from the gas station. You want to bring your treats. and a leash, obviously, and some containment, whatever containment works for you and your dog. It could be a kennel in the back of your van. It could be a pop-up, one of those baby pop-up X pens. It could be a screw into the ground with a little thing that you tie in by your vehicle as long as the dog is secured there. So just a way to secure your dog because there's going to be a lot of dogs moving around, a lot of people, and the dogs and the people that are there are used to being there. So they have a certain expectation about how everybody interacts, and you haven't
Yeah.
been there yet, and you don't know what those expectations are, and you don't want your first experience to be like you're doing something wrong. You might not want to come back. So I will tell you that updoggers are known for being very welcoming to new people coming into the sport and showing up at events. So that's a safe place for you to go try for the first time. But it is important to make sure that you have containment for your dog during those so that we're respecting the people and the dogs that are there. We're also a welcoming community for dogs that are reactive and fearful. And so we want to take into a consideration that the dogs that might be at that event might be reactive and fearful, even if your dog is not. And so containment is super important. And I know as a pet person, you might think a leash is sufficient. It's not sufficient for a dog event. You need a kennel or a crate type of thing, or a van or a car setup where your dog can be contained separate from the field, separate from a leash.
Yeah, and
Frisbee.
if it's the car that you choose, which is fine as long as you keep in mind the temperature that it might get to that day. Just I know that I was going to say especially this time of year, but I don't know what time
It's
of year
getting
people
it's
are
cold
listening to
now.
this.
We're going to have to put a
Um,
blanket in there.
but yeah, just be aware of the temperature that it's going to get to that day. We don't want our dog in a hot car.
Yep.
Oftentimes, however, at an event, they might have very close car parking underneath shade trees where you can pop your trunk open and pop the latch or whatever, and you've got lots of nice air going through your vehicle. But just be aware of the temperature.
Yeah. And then discs. Obviously, we need discs. And I will guarantee that there will be some available there from players for you to borrow or try or use if you don't have any discs. And in most cases, the club either offers discs for people to borrow or purchase, depending on the size of the club. But for the most part, you can count on people being friendly enough to let you try out their discs if you don't have any. And again, as a resource, the Updog discussion page is a great resource for which discs to use. Have we did a podcast on that, didn't we? We could also, didn't we go through different
Probably.
disc styles and stuff? So you could always look through our podcast of different disc types also if you're interested in, um, dog discs are similar to like a golf club bag, is a metaphor that I like to use that the discs do different stuff. So like if you go golfing, you have a putter, you have a mid-range, you have a driver. It's not quite that different in disc dog as far as like as it is in disc golf, like dramatic differences between discs, but the discs do behave quite differently in the weights and the sizes. And the types of plastic. So your dog will most likely have a preference. You'll most likely have a preference. But you're not going to know what that is when you first show up and you don't have any discs yet. So you're going to want to get your hands on a bunch of different types of plastic, throw a bunch of different types of plastic. The people that are at the event are going to put different plastics in your hand for you to try. So that's really just a real personal experience. That would be something you'd want to have there, but you might not have it in your first experience there. And the community would kind of help with the disc part, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and just ask questions. Like if you see somebody using a disc that you've never seen before and it seems to be working for them, ask them like, "Hey, what kind of disc do you throw? Do you mind? Could I hold it for a minute? Could I, put it in my hand, see how it feels?" Like, ask, just talk to people. They're going to be a huge resource for you at that event.
Mhm.
And whether it's about disc or, disc choice rather, or some other thing, like just if you see somebody doing something that seems like it's working for them, just ask them
Yep.
about it. I mean, most of the time they'll be very flattered probably and happy to share their experience with you.
Yeah. All right. So what else do they need to bring, or how else do they need to prepare? What do you think,
Well,
Jeff?
they definitely need a chair
Oh, yeah. That's
because
helpful.
because if they don't bring a chair, they're
They're
going
going
to
to be
take
sitting in
mine.
yours.
They're going to be taking mine. They always do. If they don't do it, somebody else will take mine. So bring a chair. There's going to be, that's the other thing too, is you may not realize it. Like, hey, I only signed up for 2 games. I signed up for Time Warp and four-way play. That's only 2 minutes of play. I should be done with this competition in like a half an hour. But what you
All
don't
day.
realize is there's going to be, 20 other teams there. Maybe they're actually playing 4 games, even though you only signed up for 2. So the day's probably going to last 4 or 5 hours at a minimum. So just kind of keep that in mind that, it's going to take a while to get through the day, but it's an opportunity for you to talk with folks, soak in the experience, get your dog in and out of that crate that we just talked about, walk them around the perimeter of the field, like
Yeah,
the
that's a big one.
the perimeter of the
Competition field.
thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I was struggling with
That's a
words
big
there.
one, especially for new dogs and dogs that get a little distracted. Kai Bear was that way. Anytime he went to an event, I mean, this is a world level dog. We'd have to walk her around the whole field to sniff everything. Otherwise,
Yeah.
for sure, during her round, she would go get her sniffs in. So that's a really great thing for a new dog, and that falls back in that enrichment category. Is walk them around the field, let them get all their sniffs out, let them get all their experiences out, so that when they're on the field, they can be focused more on you. That's a good one.
Yeah. And like again, before you even get to the competition, thinking about preparing for coming, like if I know what I've signed up for, I signed up for time warp and 4-way play. If you get onto the Updog Challenge YouTube page, there are instructional videos for each game. So watch those videos, and you can
Yep.
kind of get a sense for what you're going to be doing during that whichever game it is. Um, every every competition should also have players meetings before each game so that the head judge there can explain any rules. You can ask any questions. But honestly, it would be great walking into that players meeting, having already visualized what that game looks like so that you can ask any clarifying questions that you might have. It can be pretty abstract to just hear somebody talk about the game without the visuals, and the videos from YouTube will give you those visuals. So I would encourage you guys to watch those before you go. They're only like 3, 4 minutes long, and they should set you up for success and give you probably the questions that you want to ask during the players meeting. All right. So Dre, I'm at the competition now.
Yeah.
Woo! I arrived.
Woo! I'm
I
excited. I'm nervous. I feel a little awkward because I'm an introvert and I don't know how to talk to people and I don't want to do anything wrong and I don't want to get in trouble. So if you're like me, I'm going to be sitting in my chair and hoping somebody comes over and helps me and talks to me. But if not, when my name is called, I'll get up and I'll tell the judge, this is my first time and I don't really know what I'm doing. And then the judge will be very helpful. That's what my first experience would look like. Jack is way more social than me. He'd be walking around tent from tent to tent to tent, chatting with people, asking what their experience is, and asking for game strategies, and doing all that stuff. So I think, yeah, 100% first thing to do when you get to the competition, if you're not an intense introvert, is talk to people. And if you are an intense introvert, sit in one spot and people will come talk to you. People will hopefully come talk to you. And if not, they'll at least talk to you when it's your turn, whatever
Yeah,
your
and
level
the
of
thing
comfort
that
is.
Dre just said there, you should let the judge know, let him know, like, hey, this is our first time playing this game. Um, a
Yeah.
big, a big advantage of coming to an Updog event is the judge is there, of course, to evaluate your play on the field and award you the points that you and your dog earn. But
Mhm.
it says in writing multiple places, and it's taught during our classes for judges. The judges are the player's ally. They are
Mhm.
there to help you earn as many points as you can. So, especially if they know that you are a new player to that
Mhm.
game or a new player to Updog, they're going to help you out with information. They're going to let you know. They'll point to areas on the field and they'll say, you still need zone 3 or whatever, and they'll point to where you need to
Mhm.
go. So use them when you're out on the field. It's not like a typical other competition where the judge is just kind of off
It's
to the
just,
sideline and they
yeah,
don't say anything to
marking
you. And
down
they're,
stuff you do
yep, they're
wrong.
just marking down stuff, and every once in a while they frown at you um, so they're there to help you. They're there to be positive and cheer you on as well. So please let them know, just like Dre said, that this is my first time playing this game, and I am sure that they'll give you lots of information to make you successful. All
Yeah.
right, what else? I'm at the competition. What else do I need to be doing, Dre?
Strategy is another really good one, Jack. There's layers to everything. And when you're coming into the sport new, you're working on how do I throw the disc and my dog actually catch it in their mouth. The players that are going to be at the event that you go to are going to have different levels too. So most of them are going to be more advanced than the level that you are. Their dogs are already catching, right? But they have layers of training where they're working on their dogs dropping at a very specific spot or running a certain game pattern or strategy that gets them the most points in the 60-second or 75-second time frame that the game allots. So watch what they're doing, and I'll tell you, my experience is I can make perfect sense of the pattern watching somebody else do it, but when I get out there, it does not look the same. So
No.
watch as much as you can for these game strategies and try and like picture them in your head. Try to put yourself on the field when you're imagining them running it because it looks very, very different from the perspective of being on the field. But watching other people in the game strategies really does add a lot of fun to the game because otherwise you're just guessing out there and surviving like without a strategy or a pattern that you know would be fun to kind of figure out. Our players have figured out a lot of the basic patterns already. And so if you watch them playing, you'll see different patterns and strategies. You'll be like, oh, my dog moves like this, or my dog moves better like that. And then you can attempt that pattern or strategy instead of going out there and being kind of lost about what you throw next or just listening to the judge telling you where to throw next. It's a different level of mental engagement where you're trying to figure out what the game strategy is. You could see a lot of that by watching our players. And there's a lot of cool different strategies, and you'll see it depends on what the dog's skills are. Some dogs are better at dropping, some dogs are better at running circle patterns or straight patterns. So you might find a dog that moves the way your dog moves, and then you can try a pattern that that dog tried, that kind of stuff.
If you're anything like me, you will do all those things that Dre just said, and then you will step out onto the field, and before ready, set, go, you'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna try this strategy. I'm gonna do this," and then it'll be ready, set, go.
And it goes
My
all out the
dog
window,
starts running, and everything,
goes,
everything
disappears.
that
Yep.
was in my head is now gone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
That's it. That's exactly what I was saying. Is that like you can picture it all you want and you can watch it all you want, but when you get out there, like that adrenaline hits and it's gonna look so different and you're gonna forget and you're not gonna have an orient. I think the biggest thing for me was orientation on the field, but that could also be because I just have a really bad sense of direction, like in life. I can turn around one way and forget which way that I was going. So for me, orientation on the field is a big deal. Like if I'm playing something like four-way play, I don't remember which side I was just at, right? So, but that's my weakness, so that's something that I have to watch. So you'll see different things when you're watching the different strategies that show different patterns that maybe you'd like or that would be hard for you.
Especially like the first few times that you get out there, this is not, I'm gonna go and use Dre's idea now and think from the dog's lens too. Like this is the first time that I've been to this location, new grass. Oh my
Yep.
gosh, in my
So many
backyard,
smells.
I'm the only dog that plays frisbee. Now there's tons of dogs sitting in crates that they seem all
And they're
excited
barking.
about. Right, they're barking. They seem excited about the game. So really, the most important thing I think when I got out there my first few times was I wanted to make sure that my dog stayed with me. I wanted to make sure that I was engaging my dogs so that they were having fun.
Yep.
And so I would say first couple times out there, don't worry about the points and the strategies so much. Yeah, definitely watch and think about them for the future. But the first couple times you get out there, I wouldn't even worry about the points. I would just be like, hey, I want to keep my dog excited about playing this game and having fun. At the end of your round, this is like one of those things that I think sometimes we might forget. Like it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 time, and I'm like kind of like uh I feel like this sense of okay, I just did my first game. I got through it. My dog stayed with me, and then I kind of like settled and I look around and I see some discs I need to pick up, and I pick up my discs. I don't want you guys to forget about your dog. Your dog's still loose, off leash. So make sure that you engage with them first. Maybe pull them in for like some loving or get a tug on the disc or something. Make sure you walk them over,
Get
grab
your
your
leash.
leash, get them
Yeah.
leashed up. Don't worry about the discs on the ground. You can walk and you can get those later, or
Other
likely
people will
once,
get them.
I was just going to say that, yeah, once your dog's leashed up, other people might jump out there and help you out, pick up your discs for you. But the most important thing is keeping your dog engaged with you and engaged with the game. making sure that they're having a fun time playing
Yep.
that game. Whether you walk off the field with 0 points or 10 points or whatever, that all the points will come later. Just like
Yeah.
make it a good experience for both you guys.
Yeah, I like to remind people that you're not winning today. It's your first day. So
Right.
like not win the world champion today. Don't even go for that or have that expectation or thought. Just go for like the enjoyment of the moment. These people have been practicing for years and years to win these games. So, just work on enjoying being present with your dog and having the experience be a good one for both of you. All right,
Yeah.
so now you're at the contest, you've had a great time, your dog's been playing games and getting enriched, and you've been out on the field and meeting people and chatting with people and stuff. What do you do at the end? Like, how does this end? Does this
So,
just keep going?
I mean, it does the
It
next
could.
weekend,
It
right?
does.
You just gotta, okay, so before you leave the competition, I would suggest, again, so that you can continue to build your network of folks that enjoy doing what you do and help support you with maybe training and things like that. I would get the contact info of the club leaders
Mhm.
because they're the ones that are going to let you know when the next event's happening. So you want to connect with them. Maybe they've got a club page on Facebook or something like that. So you want to find out about that. You very likely have been talking with some people throughout the day and getting to know them, getting to know their dogs. Maybe they're the ones that, gave you the disc to try out or whatever. Get their names before you leave so you can connect with them on social media or email or whatever. Again, this is I think a big part of why I
The
would go to a
community is the
competition.
best part.
Right. Exactly.
It really
So
is.
just get that connection info before you leave so that you're not back at home going, well, I know his name was like Jeff or Jack or John or somebody. I don't let me there's a lot of Jeffs on Facebook. I don't know which
Yeah.
one is him. Like, um, so you want to be able to connect with them after the event.
Yep. Yep.
So
Getting on
go
the
ahead.
clubs too, that when the club pages, so like if you haven't yet, the club that's hosting the event is going to have a Facebook page if you're on Facebook. So you can search up that Facebook page and follow it. And a lot of times they'll have the events that are coming up posted on that Facebook page. So if you wanted to not have to go to the Updog Challenge page and go through all the events that are listed throughout the whole world, and you want to just see what your local club is offering, most of the time the local clubs that are hosting Updog events have a club page and then they'll list their events there. And again, you can also look on the Updog Challenge discussion page for um, more events that are listed as available. But I would definitely get on that club page, and then also on our Updog site. So our whole website is really unique in regards to dog sports. And the way that our reinforcement or our awards or the motivator for Updog is different from most dog sports. So we're an achievement-based system. So you're mostly competing against your own personal best instead of competing against everybody else. Yes, you're competing against everybody else. Everybody is all the time, right? But our system is based on your own personal achievements. So you're trying to beat whatever you did best in your game previously. So how we track that is through our website and our database. What I'm getting to is when you're done with the competition, if you enjoyed the games, you want to go to our Updog Challenge website and you want to register your team. And once you register your team, you'll get a team number, and then that host is going to put those event scores and everything that you did at the event together with that team number, and you're going to come up in our system with a profile, and you're going to have all your achievements and the points that you earned from that event. So you're going to have like this dashboard of the games that you played, and you've started earning points towards our world championship. And you have to hit a certain point threshold. And let me tell you about layers. We have onions in Updog, like many layers to this of like getting points and getting achievements and qualifying and titling for AKC and all that stuff. So there's you can go down a million rabbit holes, but the point being is sign up as a team on the Updog Challenge page. When you go to that website, sign up as a registered team, and that will get you in the system, in our community, in the system where we can start tracking your points and seeing what games you're best at and what your achievements are. And then you can start attacking some of your own personal bests and really get into the spirit of Updog, which is different from other organizations, which are mostly based on first, second, third finishing positions for achievements. Ours are based on your own personal achievements in each individual game and your absolute best there, and then how you can beat your own personal best. So the website and signing up for the membership for that is super important. If you really want to experience what Updog is, you really need to have a team in order to do that.
And if you like, maybe you don't decide to register or whatever for time reasons or something, you didn't get yourself registered until after maybe your second or third event. Once you're registered and you have that team number, like Dre said, the next time you register, you will add that team number to your registration, not just your name. So that way there, all your points will immediately go. But meanwhile, I've got a couple competitions that I played in that those points are just kind of hanging out there. They weren't connected with my team number. If that happens to you, just email help@updogchallenge.com and let them know my name is blah, blah, blah. I played at these two events and now my registered team number is da 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 da. Could you connect these points to my team? And the answer is yes, we can, and we'll do that for you. So just because you weren't registered, those first couple events that you went to, they're not wasted points. They can get added to um, your dashboard, like Dre's talking about.
Yeah. So
All
once you
right.
get all signed up, then we're looking at like just being in the community, right? Connecting with your club, being involved in local club events. Maybe even if you really love the environment, going into one of our judges training courses so that you can help judge some of these events, and really get involved in the community. I personally, my experience has been that I've learned the most in Disc Dog when I've been judging or like teaching. Observing other people playing, helping other people playing, it's really taught me a lot about the sport. So if you're looking to improve on the games or improve in the game of Disc Dog in general, judging is a great way of doing that. And we have judging training programs where we meet with players to get you certified for how to judge all of our games. And the cool thing about that is if you get certified to judge them, you're going to have a clear idea of the rules, which is going to help you as a player. So that's one of the fun ways that you can also get involved in the community is do one of our judging courses. And you don't have to play a lot to do that. Like you can also be like maybe you want to be really involved in the community, but you can't do that much physically, or your dog can't do, maybe your dog is older. You can maybe play one or two games with your dog during the day and judge for the rest of the day, and you can still be involved in the community that way. So there's lots of ways to participate. I think the part that we're really trying to nail home is that the community is the best part. And so any
Yeah.
way that you can be involved in the community is really going to be enriching for you and your dog.
If you had a good time at the event and you've got the contact info for the club leaders, send them an email or a Facebook message or whatever the communication method is, and let them know, like, hey, I had a great time. Number one, as a person that runs a bunch of events, that means a ton just to get a short little message like, hey, I had a great time at your event today. Thanks for hosting it.
Mhm.
So you will immediately probably make a good friend just by sending that first initial email to the club leadership, and they'll make sure then that when they get that message that they're like, oh yeah, I forgot that Jack was at our event today. Let me add them to our email list, or let me add them to our distribution list for our events or whatever. And that way there you keep, again, just like Dre said, you keep in connection with the community. But sending that little short note of thanks is a big deal. I think it makes a difference. And the other thing I don't think that we mentioned, when you leave the event, I know maybe
Pick
this
up
is
after
just me,
yourself.
but like I'm constantly in my head about like what I did or didn't do on the field. I'm thinking through my game of four-way play, and man, if I would have just thrown that a little bit differently, or why did I throw back to the three zone? I already had the three zone. Why didn't I throw to the four or whatever? And you're
Mhm.
thinking through all of these different things, and you might be thinking about what you want to go practice in your yard next because you want to get better, right? Just like Dre said, it's all about beating my personal best, and always getting better. Again, the Updog mantra is play, achieve, expand. So we want to make sure that we're always like working with our dog to build our communication in a better way, be able to move on the field better, be able to throw the disc better for my dog. And some of that has to do with practice and training. So it's an opportunity to kind of set some training goals. Maybe you connected with somebody at the event that's a local trainer. Maybe you connected with somebody at the event that you just know they wouldn't mind if you reached out and asked some questions. There's also a ton of great online support. Both Dre and I have online classes that you can sign up for. Dre has way more than I do. I have a foundational class, so if you're a beginner team and you'd like to do like this, it's called Disc Dog Foundations through Clean Run. You could sign up for that. And Dre's got a ton of stuff. Dre, you want to mention a few things that are resources for them?
Yeah, I mean, I have foundation courses, which if you're new, that's a great place to start out. And I think most everything else I have is freestyle based. So if you are looking to be a freestyle player, I have a bunch of online resources for either specific skills, like a course built around just how to do overs, or a robust course that kind of covers a full array of freestyle moves. So
And if you're not
foundations would
if
be
you're not
the place to
interested in
start.
freestyle yet, you will be.
Yeah. We think everybody will be interested in freestyle. And whoever hasn't yet jumped on the freestyle train, it's coming for you. Don't worry. It's just you have to have a later stop. We mentioned it twice today, Jack. That was you the
Yep.
second time, though.
We started and ended with it. That was good.
Yeah. Capstone. I like it. Yeah, so that will bring us into another episode, which I think would be a really fun topic to talk about, is different training ideas. So maybe we can have another episode where we start to talk about, as a new player, what are some training topics and stuff that you want to work on, or maybe some stuff we can work on over the winter to keep our dogs busy and happy and engaged during the months where we don't have outside access to I mean, some of us do, Floridians, and I'm in Tennessee. I
This
should
is
have
when the
outside
training
access.
starts heating up for us because
Yeah,
we've been stuck inside with,
100-degree
90.
weather.
Yeah, and like crazy humid and afternoon thunder showers and all that. So yeah,
Yeah,
summers
now
are
your
not.
season picks up and everybody else's season kicks down. And that's another really interesting thing, regional, right? So if you're in the Southeast area like Jack and I are, I'm a little bit further north of him, so I'm coming a little bit more into the winter, where my season is more of summer, spring, summer, fall, and his is more of fall to spring. So they're going to be hitting their season hard right now down in Florida, and really training up and working a lot outside with dogs. And through the spring, they'll do all their competitions. And then as their competitions are kind of finishing up, that's when everybody else thaws. And then we all start working on our training and competition, and they kind of get iced through the whole summer. So depending on where you are, that's another fun podcast topic. Like where you are regionally in the United States changes where your training happens and what time of the year your training happens and how to strategically plan your training. So there's some fun topics that we could talk about coming up over the winter and seasonally and stuff that we're looking forward to talk about. So
Yeah.
keep your
If
eye on the podcast for sure.
So I was just going to say, if you are a new listener to the podcast, because maybe somebody sent you this link and said, "Hey, you're coming to your first event, listen to this episode." There are already over 50 episodes in the bank. Depending on when you listen to this, there's probably a lot more. But you can search through the topic headings and find some that maybe you are interested in. And we hope that you enjoy and learn a lot from listening to the podcast. In the meantime, Dre, we hope that we see them out on an updog field soon, right?
Yes, and they should be kind to each other.
And be kind to your animals. We will see you next time on The Sweet Spot.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
My name is blah, blah, blah. Team number is da 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 da.